How's it going, everybody? You're listening to the very first episode of Puck Drop with Cutting Edge, the brand new podcast coming at you from the boys over at Cutting Edge Ice Academy. Just to give you an idea of what to expect with some of the future episodes and what we're bringing to the table here. It's going to be, you're going to hear from a lot of the coaches here at Cutting Edge talking about their experiences both as coaches and as players, what their coaching strategies are, what their coaching styles are, what to them makes a good coach, and what has helped them pretty much grow through their playing and professional careers, both on and off the ice. We're going to have in-house coaches, like I said, plus some outside exciting guests that we're going to bring in, who have either trained here at Cutting Edge or in the professional, in some sort of hockey industry, and bring some really good insight to try to help really grow the game and grow your own personal development and maybe change your mindset on how you see the game and how you train and how you see training as well. So right now, today, I got Coach Stephen Dempsey. How we doing, Steve?
What's going on, guys? Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, very first exciting guest on the Puck Drop podcast. Coach Steve's going to be a bit of a regular here with myself on the show. First off, I'm just going to kick it over to Steve. Tell us a little bit about your journey of kind of like a intro to yourself of how I got here. And you can start with playing career, where you played and where you play now, and what's going on with your hockey world. Like,
Gotcha. So I started playing. I actually started pretty late. I started when I was like 10 years old. Never skated beforehand. Before that, and yeah. So I started when I was 10. Took a little bit to try to kind of get into it, and like I played like house league over at Montclair Arena, wherever that is now. But and it took a while, and after like a couple years, I eventually like moved on to play like single A hockey, and then the next year double A, and then eventually played triple A once I got to high school. I played all over. Started with the Saints, then to the Rockets, and then played juniors. Started playing juniors when I was like 16, and but yeah, it's been a tough journey. And I'm more than happy to kind of just go over what exactly it entails to trying to play at a high level and play, and what entails coaching, and hopefully I can help you guys with that going forward.
yeah, for sure. So tell a little bit about where you're at now, where you're playing, what's going on with your current hockey career, and what's going on with that.
Yeah, so right now I'm playing at New York University, um, and just played juniors for 3 years before that. So I'm 21 years old. It's a little different starting off as a freshman, a little older, but that's pretty typical when it comes to hockey players. And I mean, I love it. We play a pretty packed schedule, and every Friday, Saturday, and it's just been awesome. And this past year, I actually tore my shoulder up, so it was kind of sidelined for most of the season, which sucks. But I'm coming back now and ready to start doing lessons here and do some clinics too and some camps. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, talking about taking some years off playing juniors, and I feel like what a lot of people don't realize is that's typically what you have to do to play college hockey. Not too many players can come in as an 18-year-old freshman and go tear it up right away.
Yeah.
Even myself, I went to Johnson Wales University, a D3 school, and while I didn't play it in college, all my friends who were on the team were not 18-year-old freshmen. They're 20-year-old freshmen. They took a few years off playing juniors, and it's D3. It was good hockey, but a lot of people think, oh, you got to take some bridge years, go play to play D1. You got to take bridge years to play oh, just about any kind of college hockey. I mean, you can maybe some of the club teams and stuff like that, you can go out and just play and where it's a little bit less competitive. But if you're going to be playing NCAA hockey, you're looking at taking a few years off and playing juniors for the most part, before you go into school. And I think your journey is a good example to some kids who you see it more and more now in the industry, in the hockey world now, of everybody gets so caught up in letters, and it's starting to get even more and more and more at a younger age. Now you see everybody wants to play. Everyone wants to play full ice mites. Everyone wants to be a triple A mite. Everyone wants to be a triple A scorer. Everybody, like, you think, a lot of people think that you have to get into triple A as early as possible, and that's the best way to get into it. But there are so many success stories of guys who started young and were just playing house league, tier two hockey, and really didn't take their jump until they got into to middle school, high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know until you hit puberty. You have no idea like what like you can grow a bunch of inches in one season and be a beast, but like you don't know. And honestly, I mean, my opinion is like I don't really think you need to play. Like I know kids play like AAA mites or stuff like that, but I don't really think you like need as long as you're developing and practicing and doing whatever you can to try to get better and work on your skills. Like I think that's the most important thing. And then once you kind of get to like maybe like second year Pee Wee, like then I would say maybe that could be a good transition. But even then, like once you get to high school, that's when everything kind of changed, and that's what everything changed for me. Especially I was okay like when I was younger. I mean I started late, so like it took a while. Like once I got to high school, like everything kind of changed for me. I grew, started being able to work out, and like really kind of got into it. Um, and yeah, I just think that that's like there's like, chasing letters is never. I don't think it's really a good strategy, especially going at a younger age. I mean, granted, there's also kids who are really good that. I mean, like I get why they're playing where they're at, but like I think just you gotta trust the process, and the best thing is just get as much ice and just train. Training is like it really helps. So I mean, if you have anything to add to that, but
Yeah, I just feel like it's, you talk about letter chasing, and what gets lost in a lot of this is at a younger age, it's about player development, right? It's about developing and getting better and playing at the best level that you can, where you're still able to produce and contribute to the team. And it's because you're not helping yourself if you're reaching for these high levels and you're going and you're the last cut on this AAA team and you play two shifts a period and you're never playing again. You're always playing catch up and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, you have the argument that you're pushing yourself, you're trying to get better, but at a younger age, it's about getting on the ice, and it's about getting puck touches, and it's about actually playing. When you're a
yeah,
10-year-old and you're barely seeing ice time during games, it's doing nothing for you.
no,
Even Pee-wees, like as a 12-year-old, if you're sitting there and you're playing AAA and you're barely getting any ice time, what's the point?
yeah,
It's a little different, okay, maybe when you're playing 16U, 14U even, and it's just a little bit more higher level, a little bit more competitive. The game's faster, and that's where you start to separate yourself once you start getting to high school. And you know that's a little different. But when you're at the younger ages, there's no need to do. I don't know what some of these people are chasing. It's crazy. It's
well, you just like you need to like they need to learn how to play the game, and it's not like it's not fun when you're sitting on the bench. Like it sucks, and I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. Like it sucks, right? Like, and at that young of an age, you want to be playing. Like that's the point of it, you know. Like you don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but like at that moment, you want to play, you want to learn, because that's gonna build a base to when you get older, and like especially when you get to juniors, like you're like if you don't know the game, if you really don't know the game, and like you're not gonna play there, you know, and not having like good knowledge and not learning about what certain situations are, and that all comes at a young age, and that all comes from playing as well. Because especially play if you play a lot of minutes, and you see different things, you see different situations, and you'll make mistakes, and that's important that you make mistakes. But you're not able to make any mistakes if you're sitting on the bench for half the game, and so I don't know. I just think that it's important that they can you play and learn and like really listen to coaches and
Yeah.
for that.
No, 100%. I totally agree. And when I coach the teams in games, when I coach, especially, I don't. I tell people all the time, I don't bench for mistakes, right? I bench for effort. I bench for other stuff. But when you make mistakes, if you crucify a kid for making one mistake, you're not giving them an opportunity to learn from
Yeah.
it, right? And okay, maybe if you make that same mistake 3, 4 times in a row, you sit them down
Yeah.
for a few shifts and let them. You go over some things on the whiteboard and you talk about it, and you try to break out of that habit. But if a kid goes out there and he tries to make a stretch pass that gets picked off at the blue line and goes the other way for a goal, I'm not benching that kid. I'm sitting there and saying, okay, this is what you did wrong, and this is how you fix it.
Yeah.
And you give them an opportunity to fix it, because if you don't give an opportunity to fix it, how are they going to learn? How are they going to get better,
Yeah.
right? And that's what it's all about. Um, you and I both, I didn't talk about myself about playing, and I, to backtrack a little bit, I never played at a super high level. I never played, AAA hockey. I was a tier two hockey player my whole life, but I was able to really, what helped me succeed in hockey was I would study the game and my hockey IQ, and I had a lot of really good coaches in my hockey life. And that is what really kind of helped set the tone and helped me get over any kind of physical deficiencies that kept me back. I was an undersized player. I was not the fastest skater. You can only get so far with your genetics and your physical size. Sometimes that was just a natural hold you back, and I think that was a big case for me. But at the end of the day, I had really good coaches my whole life, and I played from when I was a mite all the way up until 18U, and um, I had really experiences and I really learned the game. And I think what helped me is you see players all the time. These kids, they jump. They'll be on 5 different teams in 5 different years. They're jumping from organization to organization. There's no continuity there. There's no way for you to build chemistry with your teammates, and it becomes too individual. I essentially played with the same group of guys from my first year Pee Wee until I was 18U. I pretty much had the same line mates almost for five
And you
years.
learn from each other too. That's a
Exactly.
big thing, especially being on a team for more than a year or two, because you learn, and you see guy, oh, this guy's gonna do this, and and you start to know like, oh, he's gonna be in this spot, like just kind of based off his trends or your own trends. But um, I think that's like it's important that you have good coaching like that, like what you're saying, like it's huge because that's how you learn the game.
100%. And I grew up playing for a guy by the name of Gary Hess. God rest his soul. He's since passed, but he uh, I took so much away from the game from him. I learned I learned how to play hockey the right way, and I learned how to read and understand the game the right way from him too. And I think that's what really helped me and my team grow together was he taught the game, right? He knew when to yell at us, he knew when to be hard on us, but he knew when to sit there and talk to us. And sometimes you have coaches out there who just have one mode, and it's intense, it's game mode, it's in your face at all times, and you got to know when you're in position of a leadership role that these coaches are in. You have to know your players, and you have to understand that not every player is motivated by the same
Yeah,
thing and
and
motivated the same
they're
way.
all different. Every kid's
All
different.
different.
I mean, and I'm sure you see it with your lessons. Like I see it when I do lessons and when I do clinics. Some kids like to be pushed. Some kids really don't. Like, and it takes some kids a bit to kind of get going. Some kids it's automatic. But it's every kid's different, and I'm not gonna treat every player the same. Everyone's like I'm gonna like some kids I can really get on, like and be like, hey, you got to do this, and they respond well. Some kids they don't, so it's like you have to see, and that's like what you're saying. If you're any coach or person in a leadership role needs to understand that when you have a group, especially kids, like they're all different. You have to like kind of figure out how everyone's gonna react, and I don't know if you want to add to that, but
Yeah, I completely agree. And look, I coach the 14U AA team here for the King Cobras, and I coach the varsity team for Fairlawn High School. And they're two very different teams, but at the same time, they're very similar. And I know who I can be really hard on both those teams, and who I have to sit down on the bench, put my arm around. And I've learned that the hard way sometimes with some kids. And I last 2 years ago, I had a kid who I thought I could be hard on, and next thing you know, I look down as he's sitting on the bench, he's got tears rolling down his eyes, and I felt terrible, right? And you realize that sometimes you learn the hard way how to motivate some of your kids, and everyone's a little different. And from a coach's perspective, the key to really building a strong team is you have to have the team as a whole have the right mindset. And it starts with culture, right? You
Yeah.
have to create that winning culture, and you have to create that team culture. Because if you have a bunch of superstars on your team that just aren't team players, they're not about their teammates, they're getting in each other's faces, they're cursing out their teammates, they think that they're the superstars, they don't pass the puck, that you're going to lose games, you're not going to be successful, and you're
Yeah.
not going to live up to the hype that your skill of your team should have. Whereas if you have everyone who's on the same page and who picks each other up and who pushes each other, motivates each other in the right ways, and goes forward as a team, that's how you get better. You build a strong culture. We did that over at Fairlawn 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we struggled and we only won 6 games, but we've built the foundation. We said it. And the following year, we won 17 games. We won a league title. We, went to the quarterfinals in states, and we had a really good year.
Coach of the year too over here.
Coach of the year, yeah. But it starts with the culture, and it starts with building that strong foundation,
Yeah.
and making sure that all your players are on board, and making sure your best players are on board too,
Yeah.
because they lead by example. When your best players are doing all the right things, and your best players are doing the right things, not just on the ice but off the ice, right? They're leading warm-ups the right way. They're showing up to the game on time. They're picking up their teammates. Those are the little things. Those are the little things that wear off
Yeah, and
on everyone
everyone will
else.
follow. Like I've been on teams where, for example, this past season, uh, the captains of my team were phenomenal. Always to the rink early, always making sure all the guys are, um, like everyone's getting to warm ups on time. Everyone's like everything was kind of regimented, but it was in a way where like I was like, all right, I'm following this guy, and it bled over to onto the ice, and we had a really good year. I was ranked for half the season too, and I owe it to those guys who just really like set a good culture. And now coming to this next season, like we're bringing in a bunch of new guys and playing some good teams, and like we have that foundation, and we have um, like just good leadership that just gonna help us like kind of win games and kind of if we're down 3-2 in a game at the end of the game, we know like all right like we're gonna ride like behind this guy and we're gonna push forward and get it done. So I think it's so important. Like that is just so important.
100%. And a big thing too, going back to what you were saying, is like your captains and everybody leaned on them and everyone bought in. It's when we made our states run last year, and we went to our Big North playoffs, and we made the deep run. A huge key to why we made that deep run is everyone on the team legitimately believed that we could beat anyone. Whether you were a third line guy, whether you were a first line guy, it didn't matter. It's everyone truly believed, if you stepped on the ice, you believed that you were going to be successful and you were going to beat the other team. It's a little school that's never won a state championship. We might have had the best year that the school's ever had, but we legitimately believed that we could win any game. And not just that. I mean, I would say the majority of our locker room really did believe that we could have won states. As crazy as that sounds, and who knows? You get one bounce. I mean, we lost a close game in the quarterfinals. You get one bounce here or there. You never know.
Yeah,
Anything can happen.
you never know, and that's why you play. That's why you
why
play
you
the
play.
game. So
And that's key, but it starts with the culture, and it starts with the good players on the team. The best players are captains. Them really stepping up and leading the way on the ice and off the ice, and making sure everyone stays motivated, everyone stays in line, and everyone really focuses on the path and is really playing their best hockey when you have to play your best hockey. And that's what makes the good teams good. You know, um, And before we kind of go into the next one, just a quick reminder: you can, if you listen to this and you want to take a lesson with either myself or Coach Steven, and you want to do some of our clinics or summer camps that we have coming up, make sure you go to our website, which is edgeicecademy.com. You check our schedule. You can find any kind of clinic, any kind of private lesson. Sign up for one of our summer camps. We have everything that you want, whether it's working on your stick handling, working on your power skating, more game situational stuff. We have everything you need. Again, that's edgeicecademy.com, and you can sign up for anything. Myself, Coach Steven, any of the other great coaches, and you can will really help you improve your game.
Yeah, no, any guy here that any of our coaches, more than happy to work with, and it doesn't matter your skill level. Honestly, like doesn't matter if you're a high end player, high end AAA player, or you're a B player or house league player. Like we're work with anyone, and our goal is just to kind of get any kid to where they want to be and get them better and just learn the game and like the most important, have fun with it. You know, it's fun when you're scoring goals and making plays and able to do it. So like and so we want to help you guys do that. So definitely take a look at our website and more than happy both of us like more than happy to work with any of you guys.
Yeah, we're all about player development here. That's the key. That's our main goal. Player development, help you to get to whatever goal you want it to be, whether it's just to get a little bit better and have some fun, or if you're an A player trying to be a double A player, or double A trying to get over that hump to be a triple A player. We're here to help you reach any kind of goal that you're trying to achieve. Um, you know, kind of going forward for this next part, if you're not a Rangers fan, you're probably going to enjoy this and listening to two Rangers fans who are very sad
Ugh.
and down in the dumps and are just miserable right now. If you are a Rangers fan, you can be miserable and sad with us and listen to us complain about our favorite team, and what's going on right now in the professional hockey world. First off, all I want to say is all I know is pain. All I know is pain and suffering, because my is just a miserable existence right now. Is just pain and darkness. After watching the past two games, and look, kind of to piggyback off what we were saying before about playing the game the right way, the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers are a team
They're
of.
just
You can argue that they're the least skilled team left in the playoffs,
100%. But
but
they'll run through you.
yeah,
They'll run through you, and they're buying into their coach's system.
it's all about playing hockey the right way, the way the coach, and as a team, they are. This Florida Panthers team is like they are like a defensive boxer. They
Yeah,
sit there the first and second period and they just absorb the blows and they play, ground and pound, wear you down, forecheck hockey. They're not going tic tac toe, passing around. They're pounding you in the corners. They're getting the puck deep on you, and they're making it impossible for you to break out. And if they can score a goal, great. But they are just wearing you down. And by the time the third period rolls around, you have nothing left,
it's crazy,
and they just destroy you.
yeah, in the Rangers, they're a quick, skilled team, and they just can't seem to figure out. Like you watch them try to even get into the zone, and they're just guys are right on them, right on them. They can't. They'll let you just move the puck around the outside. Because I mean, they know they're like what you're gonna try to shoot there. I mean, they're confident in their goaltender. He's stopping that. They like you can't. They can't get any shots from the middle. No grade A's, and it's tough to watch as a Rangers fan. But it's
It's
crazy to see how good, like, well coached and just a defensive machine that Florida is.
it's insane. And what you see too is you can see that this is a team that made it to the final last year,
Yeah,
right? And this is a team that knows how to win, knows how to get there, knows what it takes to play playoff hockey.
yeah,
And that's what they're doing. They're playing playoff hockey. They're
yeah,
grinding away. They're wearing you down. Playing as a team. They're four lines deep. Their defense can jump up into the play and they can score. And they got some big, mean, tough defenders up there too. And they got some big, mean forwards that'll just punch you in the mouth and
yeah.
laugh in your face. And that's what you got to do. That's how you win these playoff games. And look, I truly believe the winner of this East series is going to win the cup. I don't see Dallas or Edmonton beating the Rangers or Florida. And I mean, as a Rangers fan, I am confidence level zero.
Yeah.
I don't see how this team is going to beat Florida twice. And that's just me as a just complete sad, defeated, pessimistic Rangers fan. has seen this over
Same
and
story
over
at
and
like,
over again.
what is it, like since like 2012, like five
Oh my
times we've been in
God,
the Eastern Conference
this
Finals, and it's always the same thing. I mean,
this is the two temp. This is 2016 all over again.
yeah,
This when they played Tampa Bay, and it's gonna the same thing's gonna happen. Just like in 2016, they went out and they pumped them at home in Game 6, and then they us in Tampa, I mean in Game 6, and then they came home and just played the worst, and they got dominated on home ice, and they just crawled away with like a dog with their tail between their legs into the night, and Tampa went on to win the cup.
yeah,
And then same thing 2 years ago. 2 years ago was a little different. I don't think the expectations weren't as high.
yeah.
You know, when they lost to Tampa, they were up 2-0, and everybody's like, "Oh man, they might do this." And then they lost 4 in a row. You know, it's same kind of feel to it. And it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's so frustrating. This team is it's I don't want to hear the oh they had a great season. It's this cover bust for this team. It is.
100%. I mean, look at the guys they have, and no one's getting any younger, and like you need to like just they need to figure it out. Like that's the thing. Like they need to figure out what they can do to try to combat what not Tampa, Florida is doing to them, because like it's like you said, it's the same story.
Again, this
Every
is like to me this is like 2016 over again.
yeah,
Like they lost when they lost to the Kings in the final. That was one of those where it's just happy to be here. I had no real expectations when they made it to the final against the Kings, but the following year when they lost to Tampa, that sucked. Like that was a team
yeah,
that they should have won the cup. They could
yeah.
have won the cup, and it's the same feeling now. Like one, I don't think they're going to win in Game 6, and if they or the way the way it goes as a Rangers fan, they're going to win in Game 6, and they're just going to throw up a
Like yeah,
stinker in Game
Game
7
7,
at
and
home,
it's not.
and it's just miserable. It's just pain and misery, and nothing ever good, and that's just how it is in Rangerland right now. It's Igor's being hung out to dry. He's standing on his head, and then you know Lafreniere's coming to his own.
He
Lafreniere is
It's ridiculous. That I mean, I still keep watching that. The toe drag to the backhand was ridiculous. Through two guys, pretty much.
yeah
And that was one of the most ridiculous things ever. So
yeah. So prime example of letting players develop.
oh yeah,
Right.
just
It
development.
was like Lafreniere because he came in as an 18-year-old and scored 30, 40 goals immediately. Everybody declared him a bust. Well, it's about the player development and player opportunity. You look at the team he came into. Same thing with Kako. I think Kako's a good player too, but it's opportunity with some of these other players who were first overall picks. They came into teams that were terrible, and they just basically said, "Here's your first line minutes. Go out and play.
Yeah.
We
They were
don't care
playing
about
like
winning."
fourth line minutes
Yeah,
when they first came up. Like that was
exactly.
what they were doing. Like so, it's totally different path, and it they were 18 when they came in, which is crazy. You know, it takes a while. It
He's
takes a
still only
while.
what 22, 23 years old, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
he's 22 years
He's
old.
22 years old. He's just coming. He's a superstar. He'll be the best player on the Rangers next year. If not next year, in 2 years, he'll be the best player on the Rangers. He's
100%.
already right now. He's the best player on the team. He's dynamic. He's got an opportunity to score anytime he's on the ice, and that is what's exciting for Rangers. Rangers fans. I mean, we still have young. You got Igor. Anytime you have Igor, you have an opportunity to win, and they have that young core, but they don't win. I think you're gonna see changes. I think you'll see somebody like Zibanejad or Panarin or even Kreider or one of the older guys get traded. It's just it's cover bust for
No,
this team.
100%. But hey, let's hope that they can do something, and they just gotta. I mean, they just gotta get to the middle of the ice and like get pucks in net. Like, I mean, that's the only thing I could like really say is that like you watch them, it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, it doesn't make sense when like they like the third period they had 17 shots and they had like 12 in the first period. Like that's terrible. Like that's terrible. You're making this guy Bobrovsky's job easy, and like he's kind of I don't know. I mean, he looks like he's flails around there. Like I think we could beat him. So they just need to get shots in net and not miss the net. But I don't know.
My ultimate spin zone here, and I'm gonna flip it to where I'm the optimist, is go back to 2016. You go back to the Washington series. They're down 3-1. They were dead to rights in that game. It was 1-0 game, and Kreider scores the goal with like a minute left.
Yeah.
And then they win it in overtime. It's just an absolute cheeser. There's no, like, they had no life. He threw it on net. It just goes 5-hole and Holtby. Boom. Next thing you know, they turn around, they win the series.
Yeah.
Look back 2 years ago, same thing. When they played Pittsburgh, down 3-1, they chipped away at that. Game 7, they were dead in the water. Zibanejad scores a big goal where everything, there was no life in the team. Zibanejad scores a goal, they win in overtime, right? Everyone has been comparing this run back to '94, the magical run. Series against the Devils. They won. They lost game 1, won game 2, game 3, lost game 4, lost game 5. Then the Messier game happened, and they won in 7 in overtime. So, like, you want to continue that run? We're right on track, baby. That's my spin zone. That's my optimist. I am doom and gloom. My confidence level, like I said, is completely in the toilet. I am just. But I'm also one of those fans where just like any of my favorite teams, you lose one game in the playoffs, and I'm like, well, they're never going to win a game again. This is over. Like, I don't see how they're ever going to win a game. But the good thing about the playoffs is every game's a new game.
Yeah,
it's a new
game,
opportunity.
and it's why you play the game. So, like you said, a new opportunity to get out there, bang some bodies, and just try to get shots to the net. Like that's sort of like if you can get shots to net, get in some rebounds, get guys in front, like you're gonna like have a chance. Like that's the thing. Like I don't see them really doing. Like, and if they do get a shot off, it bounces to the corner, and no one's there to get it. Or I don't know. It just
and you got to play with desperation. Like,
yeah,
you got to play desperate hockey. You got to go in there and play like you lose and you're done. Because there's no, I haven't seen the whole series. Florida has had all the heart, all the desperation,
100%.
all the physicality. Like, you need to show heart. You need someone to step up and play with that desperate level of hockey. You need Laviolette to go in there in the locker room and really give it to him and tell him. I mean, this is a guy who's been there. He's been he's won a cup. He's been to multiple Stanley Cup finals, and he's been to multiple conference finals. This is a guy who knows how to win.
Yeah.
He knows how to push the right buttons. And Laviolette, I think, has been great so far for this team. But this is now where you need your leadership to step up.
Yeah, you need that heart to go out there and play. Like they are like out to lunch on a November like random game against like San Jose. That's the effort that they have right now. To me, that's from what I'm seeing. And granted, there's spurts where they're just like, holy shit, this team's back. Like they look really good, and then like they'll be in the D zone, and I'm just like scared. I'm like, thank God we have Igor Shesterkin, but I'm just scared. I'm like, this is bad. Like they're just working us. Like they can't like no stick on puck, no body on body. Like it's just bad. It just looks bad.
And then they go on streaks where they just can't get the puck out of the zone. And then you take 2 or 3 icings back to back, and now you're gassed, and you've been on the ice for 2 minutes, and you're like, well, this is going to be a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes either a goal or a penalty. Like, this is brutal. But they just gotta figure it out. They got to figure it out. They got 2 games. Give me 2 games of your best hockey, and then that's the thing. You win these 2 games, and the series resets.
Then
You're back to 0-0.
New
series. I said the same thing with Carolina. The best thing, everybody panicked when they lost 2 in a row against Carolina. Then they won game 6, and you say, you know what? The series is over. New series. No reason to panic.
Yep.
It's over. Now we move on. And that's what you got to do here. You take care of business against Florida. You play your best 2 hockey games of the year against Florida, and you move on. You go to, and now you're in the final. You're in the cup final. And like I said, I truly believe the winner of this series in the East, you're going to beat.
They have the best chance to win.
They can beat both Edmonton and Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas scares me a little more. I think they're a little deeper. They got a better goaltender.
Yeah, we had trouble too during the regular season against them.
Yeah, I think when you look out west, Edmonton's got the high end. Edmonton obviously has the best high end talent in of any team left in the playoffs. Their goaltender stinks. Stuart Skinner's terrible.
Yeah.
And
the JV goalie.
He's terrible. And you look at it. I don't know if they necessarily have the depth or the grit, really, to compete. I think Dallas is a little bit deeper. I think they got better goaltending. Their top end talent isn't as good as Edmonton, but the The Western series is just so unpredictable. It's so crazy. You look at those games. One team will be up 2-0, and they haven't even given up a shot on goal, and then next thing you know, they'll lose the game. It's like, what the heck
Yeah,
just
it's
happened? Like,
nuts.
how did this game just turn like this? This is crazy. That series has been so unpredictable. But I mean, both the East and the West have been such great series. They're just so evenly matched teams, and it's just a war between these four teams of who wants it. And there's a reason that these four teams are left.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do think the East is going to end up winning the cup, hoping it's the Rangers.
Yeah.
I was at the ripe age of 3 years old when the Rangers last won the cup. Remember it like it was yesterday. Just kidding. I don't know any happiness. I only know pain and misery. Um, but yeah, man, they just got to figure it out.
Yep. That's all you can say. You just gotta figure it out and come out to play.
Yep. So, all right, man. Well, look, this was fun. This
Yeah.
was this was good,
100%.
and I hope anyone who actually listens to this enjoys some of the commentary, enjoys some of the things that we talk about, and takes a little bit away from the things we talk about, and maybe it gives you a little different perspective of how you view things as far as whether it's youth hockey, whether you enjoy our talk about professional hockey, or um, maybe it helps you make some decisions on teams, or maybe you're a little confused about the direction as to which way to go, and some of the things we talk about help you out. And that's what we're here. We're here to inform, entertain, and have a little bit of fun with it ourselves. Once again, this is Kevin Geist, and this is the Puck Drop with Cutting Edge, here with my good friend Stephen Dempsey. Um, and big shout out to the producer, Pat Coyne. We love you, Pat.
Coin.
And thanks for listening, everybody. We're going to try to put out a show once a week, and I hope that we get some people out there who look forward to listen to us.
Hey guys, thank you. Thank you for listening, and yeah, hopefully you guys want to continue to listen, and hopefully you guys come and see what we have to offer here. I'm telling you, we have so much that we can offer for all levels, all ages, and like I think that we can help you guys get your game to the next level and just learn the game and have fun with it too.
And let's go Rangers.
Go Rangers.